guys, today I'm going to be doing my March wrap-up and my April TBR, which honestly is completely not planned at all, but we're gonna pretend like it is, and I'm gonna say a couple books that I would like to get around to reading. Okay, so I'm going to start off with all of the books that I read in March, which is a lot more than I thought it was, but I mean, that's okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get into it. First off, I read the Shadowhunters Codex by Cassandra Clare and Joshua Lewis. This book was very simple to read, it was very informational, and if you're very into the Shadowhunters world, you're going to love this book. Next, I read Room by Emma Donoghue. I actually really enjoyed this book. I thought it was interesting seeing it from the child's perspective rather than the mom's. So if you're interested in reading a book that's not from like the typical 16 to 18 age group, I would really recommend Room. I also read Salt to the Sea by Ruba Sepidis. I loved this book. I love World War II historical, and so this book just completely fit what I was looking to read at the moment because it's also a standalone, and I feel like I read a lot of standalones this month, but loved it. Salt to the Sea. And next I read the highly anticipated Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. Shadowhunters was the last book that I had read in the series. I started January 1st to introduce myself into this giant world that Cassandra Clare has built up. And then I read the Tales of the Shadowhunter Academy in like 2 days because I didn't realize they needed to be read before this. And so I actually finished that second, but there they are. I guess that should also be in the list. I don't have a hardcover copy, but I also finished Tales of the Shadowhunter Academy. Anyways, so Lady Midnight was absolutely incredible. I don't even care that it was like 630-something pages long. I loved it, and if you have not read it, please do. Next, I read A Black Widow Forever Read by Margaret Stoll. I really enjoyed this book. It was more of an entertaining book rather than like a book that made you think. But if you're looking for like a quick entertainment read, then I would definitely recommend Black Widow. Next, I finally got around to reading Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. This definitely is more of an entertainment book, I feel like. I enjoyed it a lot, but if you're looking for like a quick, entertaining read, then I would really recommend Red Queen. It was very interesting and it kind of had you thinking the entire time. I will be having a review coming up on this soon, so I don't want to get too into it right now. So after Red Queen, I jumped into Glass Sword, also by Victoria Aveyard. I loved this book more than the first. I'm not sure why. I don't know if it was the plot or that there were more characters involved or we got to see more character development. I don't know, but I really enjoyed this book a lot more than I did Red Queen, and now I am highly anticipating the third book in the series, which I don't think comes out until next year, but we'll hang on, we can do it. So I haven't finished Cruel Crown yet, but I'm like halfway through and I'm going to assume that I'm finishing it soon. So this is kind of in the April TBR, but I started it in March. This is in between March and April. I also don't want to get too much into this book because I'm going to include it in the Glass Sword review. I think you're supposed to read it in between Red Queen and Glass Sword, but I didn't own it soon enough, so I'm reading it after Glass Sword. So far, from what I've read of Cruel Crown, it doesn't matter in what order you read it in the series, but I will let you know if that changes or what. But I'm also going to include the review for this, for each story in the Glass Sword review. Now, on to the April TBR. I have absolutely no idea what books I'm planning on reading this month. I know that there's like 6 book clubs that I found on Goodreads, and then obviously like Proustopia and Booksplosion. And they're all starting different first books in series, and I like to read the entire series and then start the next one, so I don't know which series I'm going to start reading this month, but I have a rough idea of which books I would like to get around to reading. So the first book is Cinder. I know that this is an entire series, so I would have to like completely jump in and read all of the books in order because it really bothers me not to. I don't know why. But I've been wanting to read this book for so long, and I just haven't gotten around to it, so hopefully this month I will. I like to have some standalones in the TBR list, so I'm just not constantly going with series again and again. So I have Wolf by Ryan Groden. I feel like I'm pronouncing that wrong. And this is another book that I've been loving, and I feel like it would follow the theme of World War II, like Salt to the Sea. So I'm hoping to get around to reading this book. We will see. The next book is Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo, and this is more so because I've really been wanting to read Six of Crows because I've heard how amazing it is. And I know you don't have to read the Shadow and Bone trilogy before you read Six of Crows, but I would like to. I mean, it's a spin-off series and it's not required, but I like reading the base series before reading the spin-off series. So this one, I don't know. This is like, I have to read 3 books just to get to the book that I really want to read, but we'll find out. The next book I've really been wanting to get around to reading, and that's Passenger by Alexandra Bracken. I've heard incredible things about this book, and I've had it for about 2 months now, and I just haven't gotten around to reading it along with every other book in my TBR. That's always my excuse. I just knocked over a book. Just the entire plot line sounds very interesting, so again, this is more of like a standalone in the middle of the series. If I can't decide what book I read, I just read a standalone, so I don't have to make a large commitment. So between my next standalone filler books, it's either going to be Wolf by Wolf or Passenger. So if you can tell, I'm really indecisive about which books I read, and I never really have a set TBR list. I kind of just look at my bookshelf, and whichever one I haven't read and I feel like reading, I go ahead and read that one. So those are all of the books that I read last month, and I kind of plan on reading next month. I hope you all enjoy the video, and I will see you again next week. Thank you for watching.